Hi, 2021 has been the year of the supply chain constraint. Shortages all the way through the supply chain, from silicon wafers to semiconductors to engine control modules, have delayed the shipment of finished products. One of those finished products is semi-trucks. The shortage of new supply, coupled with the skyrocketing demand, has made any truck available expensive and often pretty far between. At Rollzi, we're facing these hurdles head on as we continue to grow the business. Ride along as I take a journey to buy more trucks during a worldwide supply chain shortage. I'm driving northwest today in a 2018 Kenworth T680. This truck has a Cummins engine and a 10-speed manual transmission. The spec is not my first choice, and neither is this drive. I have 2 days of driving ahead of me because I had to fly about 1,000 miles away just to find any available truck. So this is a bit of an adventure, driving a manual transmission for the first time since CDL school, an engine I'm not familiar with, and a route I've only taken on a motorcycle. In late 2020, I bought 3 trucks. This was after 9 months of lockdowns and an uncertain freight market, but the supply chain issues hadn't made it to the used vehicle market quite yet. I looked online for the spec I wanted, filtered to a dealer that had them reasonably priced, and within a day's drive, I reached out. After some negotiation, I had 3 trucks delivered to my yard a quick 200 miles away. While the truck I'm driving is spec'd slightly differently, it's close enough that it should be within 2 or 3% of the value of those trucks I bought a year ago. But the market reality at the end of 2021 is wildly different. I could get 2 of those original trucks for the price of the one I'm bringing home today. A 100% increase in the cost of a used truck over 12 months. To make the transaction even more challenging, the truck costs more because of the laws of supply and demand, which means there are not many trucks out there. Instead of going through my typical retailer, I went upstream to the leasing company. PACCAR has a leasing program for fleets, so they have a somewhat steady stream of off-lease trucks coming in that they need to sell. These trucks are sold often at wholesale to other dealers and then on to smaller fleets that can give the trucks a second life. After months of working through my original contact at the Kenworth dealership, he mentioned that PACCAR was just not wholesaling trucks because there were so few of them. He mentioned that they were selling the equipment on their own at prices closer to retail. So I went to PACCAR. After a day spent flying out to Salt Lake City and making my way to PACCAR's location, I was certain that this would be where all the trucks were hiding. Their lot was just as empty as all the lots in the rest of the country. My truck was one of the only ones available. In fact, the only trucks around were all waiting on parts, also impacted by supply chain shortages. In fact, I had to wait for weeks to pick up my truck because I needed a waiver from the Department of Transportation saying that I could drive it without a component that was particular to the emission system, because there's also a nationwide shortage of that part. But at the end of a long day of traveling and signing the requisite paperwork, I had my truck and I was on the road. Get this. Sometimes I let the RPMs fall too quickly, so I miss my shift. Or maybe it's not that the RPMs are falling too quickly, it's that my hand isn't moving quickly enough. I don't know which one. I don't know which one it is. Oh, wasn't good. So what I did there was I forgot to rev the engine. Sometimes that's what I mean by I don't know how to stop. I'm using my right foot. I'm using my right foot on the brake. So my right foot's on the brake, but I need to brap the old throttle. Oh, that wasn't a very good one either. I need to brap the old throttle so I can match revs with my road speed, so that I can bring the truck to a stop and be in gear. But sometimes I don't want to let my foot off the brake. So I think that's the art of this of floating gears I need to work on. Are ugly. Part of this is because I'm talking, because they're a little bit smoother sometimes when I'm just focused purely on shifting, but I'll get there. Of course, I'll switch trucks, and I'm sure it'll be a mess again. That was a good one. I think.
left.
I'm happy that I was able to secure the equipment, but this is definitely less than ideal. The extra time required is an obvious cost that I want to avoid, but it's also impossible to bring along all the comforts that we typically appreciate on the road. The truck needs to be detailed and then furnished, bringing it from this dirty, bleak accommodation to this well-appointed domicile. We work hard to make sure our drivers have solid, well-maintained, and comfortable equipment. With so much time spent in the truck, everything needs to be working. It could be easy in a market like 2021's used truck market to just lower our standards and keep the cost of the trucks down, but at Rollzi we take the long view. Trucks already have a very short shelf life, and driver retainment is a top priority. After some nasty gear grinding, I started getting the hang of this gear jamming business, and I even started learning how to float gears. I even started enjoying driving the manual transmission. I made pretty good time. Besides one closed highway that held me up for a couple hours, the trip was a success, and the truck made it to the Rollzi yard. While things in the supply chain are tight, I'm optimistic that within about 6 months, we will start to see a recovery. This week, there was news that new trailer builds are returning to pre-pandemic volume levels, so I hope new truck orders are not that far behind. Even if this shortage lasts long into 2022, we value quality equipment, and if that means we take a little extra time and spend a little extra capital to make sure we can deliver on our values and promises, then it's a worthwhile investment. What about you? Have you been able to find what you want or need to keep your world turning? Let me know, and until next time, keep the shiny side up.